Hey Spartans, welcome to the video for week 3. It's Saturday night. I'm sitting out on the back porch. It's just starting to rain. I love the smell of rain. What I thought I'd do tonight is talk to you a little bit about the week that's coming. But before I do that, one thing I wanted to mention to you is that USC Upstate is one of approximately 20 universities nationally that are educational partners with a group called the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance. NLA is the largest nonprofit leadership development association in the United States. And it's the only association that offers a credential, the CNP, which stands for Certified Nonprofit Professional. One of the things that I'm beginning to do now is to put together a plan by which students can earn the CNP. And if you are interested in it, you don't have to be a nonprofit minor. But if you're interested in pursuing the certificate, something that you could do in a relatively short period of time, please come see me. Send me an email, text me. The Student Nonprofit Leadership Association, yes, we have a student organization. They meet weekly, Monday nights, 5 o'clock in the administration building, room 104. Those are also, they just so happens to be students that are taking nonprofit NPAD 201, which is a course that you can take for credit, 1 semester credit hour. But if you're interested in the credential, and I hope you would be, at least some of you, reach out to me. Anyway, we're focusing on week 3. This week you're going to run into the first quiz. But before we get to the quiz, let me talk a little bit about what the deliverables will be. Well, you've got one chapter to read out of the Solomon book, and that's the chapter that deals with the scope and the structure of the nonprofit sector. We'll talk about the different types of nonprofit organizations, be they faith-based, healthcare, education, arts, recreation, humanitarian, lobbying, and then introduce you to this idea of what a nonprofit foundation is. After you've read chapter 3, you're also to read an additional supplemental article that I've put in Blackboard, and it will just give you a historical perspective of nonprofit organizations, also to kind of help you understand, hey, how did we get here? And there's a video. The video will talk about some of the challenges, opportunities that are facing nonprofit leaders now, and kind of what the landscape looks like, and what we can expect as we navigate that. Let me remind you that you are to journal chapter 3, of course the other 2 chapters also, but you're to journal the supplemental article and the supplemental video. And there are folders in your course content on Blackboard where you're to do that. And that journal is due a week from tomorrow night, so all your stuff is theoretically due on Sunday nights by midnight. So this week, as I mentioned, you're going to run into the very first quiz. I don't want you freaking out. Quizzes aren't meant to be, I don't ask questions that are sneaky or weirdly worded to make it incredibly difficult for you. It's not about trickery. It's about getting you to talk about what you've read. My quizzes are typically 4 to 5 open-ended questions. And as you read through them, you'll go, these are incredibly vague. They're vague on purpose. Because I want you to kind of focus on what, as I said, focus on what you read and really think about your response. Now, having said that, I want to be very clear about my expectations in your responses. I'm significantly more interested in the stuff than I am the fluff. What do you mean by that? Well, I'm more interested if you can write concisely and give me 2 paragraphs per question. I'm more interested in that than you giving me 2 pages full of nonsense and as a response to the quiz questions. But to give you kind of a heads up on how to prepare for the quiz and the kinds of questions that you might expect. I might ask you, why do we have a nonprofit sector? What's the benefit of it? Describe some characteristics of nonprofit organizations. I mentioned to you in chapter 3 of the Solomon text, you'll run across foundations and what nonprofit foundations are and what their role and scope are and their function. And I might ask you a question, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I might ask you describe the functions of a nonprofit foundation. And then a question that I always like to ask to see if students are kind of paying attention. Are you paying attention? Paying attention, or like, where do nonprofit organizations get the money they need to operate? Anyway, so you'll have your first quiz. Again, let me encourage you, support you, advise you. Stay up with the work. Don't fall behind. Make sure you journal what you got to journal. Get your stuff due and turned in when the deadlines call for it. You're into the first couple weeks of the semester. Hope you're really enjoying your classes. Hope you are connecting with the faculty that are teaching the classes. And I hope you're getting to know one another and making friends and having at the beginning of a memorable experience. Lastly, let me back out of this and get ready to go watch something on Redbox. Think about the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance and seeking the certification. It's a great idea. It certainly will look exceedingly good on your resume. And for those of you that are really seriously thinking about working in the nonprofit sector, let me tell you, you just can't get it without it. And I think I may have deer in the backyard. Oh, yes, we do. Can you see that? I feed deer in my backyard. Yeah.